ladies and gentlemen, episode 6. A soft heart do you no favor. And it's your boy Icon with another TV review for you. And this show is getting very good. Like, the show's been good. But this particular episode was only based on two specific storylines. There were some side storylines that didn't really mean much. Just to get those out of the way, Mai Ling basically introduced the Hopway to their new printing grounds, and she's just like, you're gonna have to do this on my territory. And then, Young Jun's upset. He's like, what the fuck are we doing this shit? And he's like, I didn't agree to this bullshit, but he gotta honor the deal. So he's like, you made a deal. He's like, I didn't make shit. So they're trying to figure things out. And then him and Mai Ling actually have like a decent conversation. He told her, he was like, listen, he's like, I respect the fuck out of what you did, scratching and claw on your way to power, but he was like, I didn't forget what you tried to do. You tried to kill Hazam, tried to kill my daddy. And then she was just like, I don't want to fight anymore. She's like, there's too much drama with the ducks. We have to, keep our people together. And then Mai Ling is the queen of taking the blame off of her and shifting it to somebody else. And then she's just like, besides, we have more pressing matters with Hazam and his newfound crush, because she's like, oh, he's banging our only source of printing money. So now she done put the bug in Young Jun's head, and then he's just like, because she was just like, she could out us at any moment or whatever. And so now Young Jun he's thinking about that. So because of that, and then we never saw Mai Ling again. So because of that, Young Jun and Father Jun, they actually came up with a plan, like a plan B, for when they no longer have to work with Mai Ling, because they don't trust Mai Ling anyway, because the whole time they were just like, it's only a matter of time before Mai Ling betrays us. So until that happens, let's actually come up with a plan B. Leary ended up hobnobbing with the rich, and the guy that stole Miss Davenport's land, he's taking him around the grounds, showing him all the people, all the rich people, because he's like, if you want to make change for the working man, for the Irishman, this is how you do it. But the guy also showed that although he's not a physical, scary presence, he's smart as far as like blackmailing people and using people's pain against them. He found this one particular person who could basically hire a bunch of Irish labor for a bunch of various jobs that he has. He said to the guy in front of Leary, he was just like, oh yeah, this is such and such. His daughter is about to get married, and it's a shame that the husband doesn't know she's damaged goods, because apparently your daughter banged one of the workers, and then she ended up having his child. But because he didn't want to ruin his daughter's like virginosity, whatever the case may be, he lied and said it was his kid and he raised the kid as his own. So so then that's when the guy was like, holy shit, how do you know about that? And he was like, what do you want? And he was like, I want you to fall in line, bitch. And then that's when Leary was just like, oh, so you've got these rich bastards by the balls and everything. So now Leary's learning a different way. Like, it's not always about like whooping somebody's ass. If you can find dirt on people, which is the source of like politics, and anyway, like if you can find dirt on people, that's another avenue you can take to getting what you want. Aside from the po black girl looking for her po white boyfriend, nobody else was really in the episode that mattered. So now moving on to the main story, well, one of the two main storylines, Young Jun and Father Jun made the decision that they're going to use the counterfeit money to go down to some Irish church, and it's people that Father Jun knew at one point. They're going to go down to this church where these guys apparently are mining silver, and they're going to use the counterfeit money that they've been printing to purchase actual silver from these guys to stockpile money in case things go south with Mai Ling, or when things go south with Mai Ling. So they get to the compound, they get to the church, and these Irish guys that that are mining the silver from this church, they have Spanish labor, they have like Chinese labor, they're like working these people to the bone. It's basically slavery. They're whooping these people's asses, and then it was making Hazam uncomfortable because he wasn't really down with the whole thing about how they were treating people. But it's not their territory, it's not their thing. And Young Jun kept trying to tell him, he was like, look, let's just mind our business, do what we got to do and get the fuck up out of here. But then there was a moment where at night, some of the Irish guys were beating up on this kid because they said the kid stole some food or whatever the case may be. So Hazam, he interjected, and then they let the kid go. And then he was like, it's best that you go off to bed now. He's like, you Chinese have seen enough. So he's like, tomorrow we do business. So then Hazam went to sleep. They wake up the next morning. Well, before they went to sleep, Hazan and Father Jun had a nice little conversation, and it was nice to see them bury the hatchet, so to speak. And then because Father Jun was just like, I never liked you. And then he was just like, no shit. But then he was just like, but you care about my son, so don't be stupid. So then the next morning, so they get up, they do the exchange, they give the Irish guys the fake counterfeit money, and then they end up giving them like real silver in return. So when they're on the carriage and they're on their way back, to Chinatown with the silver, they come across the boy from the night before. He was dead in the middle of the road, hung up on like a pike or whatever, and then it said, the sign said, "This is what happens to people that steal our food." And then Hazam got pissed because he said, because and he's right. He was like, those Irish sons of bitches put that kid here on purpose because they wanted us to see him because of everything that happened last night. And then after that, Hazam was just like, "That's all I can stand. I can't stand no more." He ended up, and they tried to talk him out of it. Like Young June and Father June tried to talk him out of it. They was like, "Don't do it." And then he was just like, "Fuck that." He went storming in, whooped everybody ass, and then Young June came in with the knives. Father June came in with a shotgun. They killed even the mom, the mother of the boy who died, because she's like, "My son didn't take anything. He was innocent." She went back inside and she took a pitchfork and a shovel and was murdering everybody. And then the head Irish guy, he fought Hazam one-on-one. Hazam basically killed him and strung him up on the cross, like on a Jesus statue. And then after that, I don't know what's gonna happen now, because the fallout from that is, now you can't get the silver anymore, because they were going to use those guys to get, to get real silver in exchange for fake money. But Azam done fucked that up now, so now they can't get silver unless the Tong takes over that whole thing and they start mining silver instead, and the people end up working for that. I don't know what they're gonna do, but if that's not the case, if they're not gonna take over the territory and start mining the silver themselves, then Hazam just fucked them over as far as the cash is concerned. But in his heart, he did the right thing, and now he has to live with that. And the three of them are still standing in the church, wondering what the hell they're gonna do now. Now in the second storyline, because remember in the last episode, Richard and Chow, they got scooped up by the black dude, and he basically he called him the ransom. He took the flyer. He called him the ransom. I guess he got the $500. I'm not 100% sure, but he turned Richard and Chow over to his family down in Georgia, down in good old Savannah, Georgia. So the mom has them, and she's just like, "Oh, you're gonna pay for what you did to my boys," and she's like, "You killed my sons and everything." And then there's this whole big thing. She's like, "You're no kin to us, like you're not family." And then he was just like, "You're not family." And she was like, "You're doing all this for some color girl." They are very the thing about this show, I give them respect. I give the show respect for this, although this is about the Chinese versus the Irish. And they, props to them for including black people into the show, because we were there too. It's not like we didn't exist. They are respectfully doing a very hard job. They're doing every single thing they can to not say the N-word. And they're using things like colored girl, like, scallywag. Like, they're using all these different, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm just like, I respect what you're doing, but for the love of God, just use the fucking N-word at this point. Like, just use the damn N-word, because those were the times, and that's what happened. But anyway, so they were just like, they called her a coon. They were just like, "Oh, you killed my boys over some colored coon or whatever." And then he got mad. And then, but before all that happened, like, Chow actually tried to talk to Richard, because he was just like, "Oh," he's like, "Right now, me not Chinese, you are not white, we are together, we need to break out together." There was a moment where Chow, they were like, their wagon had broken. They was going to have Chow fix it, but then Richard created a distraction, and Chow actually got away. Chow ran off into the forest, like God knows where. He managed to get his handcuffs and his chains off, and then after that, they strung Richard up and started whooping the shit out of him. And while they were whooping him within an inch of his life, Chow came back and basically killed everybody. And then Richard and Chow together, like, they killed his aunt, they killed his cousins and everything. And then he was upset, and then he was just like, "Oh, Chow, no abandon you, because as Chow say, you and me, we partners in this together." But shit's gonna hit the fan when now that the entire family's dead. I mean, Richard doesn't have to worry about the San Francisco. He doesn't have to worry about the bounty hunter thing anymore. So the bounty hunter aspect of his story, the bounty hunter aspect of his story is over. So I don't know if there's going to be, I don't know if there was a father involved, like he had an uncle or something, but as far as I'm concerned, this whole thing with him is dead. Now he has to deal with his black girlfriend and her brother-in-law, because her brother-in-law was the one that sold them out to his family. So that's going to be some shit, because he's just going to go and punch him right in the face. And even the Secret Service agent, is he dead? Like, did they kill the Secret Service agent? Like, who knows? But anyway, but then after that, like, in a last-ditch effort of remorse for his family, because, like, Richard did actually murder his entire family, he did the honorable thing by giving his family a proper burial, which means somebody's probably going to send him a letter that says that he inherits their entire estate and whatever. But I don't know, it was pretty dope. That's how the episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. So again, like, this was a quick one. The two storylines was centered around them trying to get the silver, and then Richard and Chow being strung up. I thought the Richard and Chow thing was going to last a little longer. They actually, like, sewed that up in one episode, which is good, because it's like, there was really no reason to drag it out. I thought they would, but there's no reason to drag it out. But again, a lot of the other characters were weren't even in this episode. So I guess in the episode 7, it's back to business as usual because we're gonna see the fallout of a toy and with Lee and with everything, Davenport and the whole nine. And then there's still the whole printer daughter situation because she was actually in the episode, and then she was just like, if things go south between both tongues, me and my family are dead or whatever. And then Hassan was like, I'll protect you. But I don't know. Share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and we will continue to talk about it. So we got my Adventures of Superman on the channel as well. Harley Quinn is back. We're gonna continue to review Harley Quinn when Harley Quinn returns. And also on my channel, check out the season finale series. I'm gonna say series finale because there shouldn't be a season 2 to the Skrull Invasion. But Marvel's Invasion, the series finale, is on my channel as well. So check that out when that drops. And for the love of God, we still playing that Street Fighter 6, y'all. So till next time, for some more warrior action. Take care. And remember, being soft do you no favors. Until next week, we're out this time.